Shalom and welcome to Questions and Answers with RabbiEricT. Today's question comes from Aaron, and Aaron asks the question, Rabbi, I don't feel convicted about keeping the weekly Shabbat. What should I do? How should that affect me? Well, the answer to the question is really a very important question, and one that believers in Yeshua really need to get a handle on, and that is this: that it really doesn't matter if you feel convicted about obeying God's commandments. He isn't asking you how you feel about the commandments. He is giving you commandments. They aren't suggestions or options. They're His Word. And even if we just limit the commandments to what's known as the 10 Commandments, the Shabbat is number 4 on the list of 10. So when we deal with this, you wouldn't say, Rabbi, I don't feel convicted about idolatry. How should I respond to that commandment? Or you wouldn't say, Rabbi, I don't feel convicted about adultery. How should I respond to that command? Or I don't feel convicted about lying or coveting or murder. How should I respond to that command? But for some reason we think, I don't feel convicted about the Shabbat. How should I respond to that command? The truth is that God doesn't really care about our feelings or our emotions concerning His commandments or how we feel about them. Conviction is kind of like conscience. People will say, let your conscience be your guide, but the truth is your conscience doesn't bother you until after you've done something. And conviction likewise doesn't bother us until we've sinned. God's Word is given to us so that we would live above sin, so that we would follow Him, not in order to be saved, but because we have been saved, not in order to be redeemed, but because we have been redeemed. We obey God's Word as our way of walking out our life as a believer, and one of those commandments is to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. So this isn't something, well, I don't feel like this, or I don't really feel convicted to do this. It's really something that God says, do this. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Just as He said, don't commit idolatry. Just as He said, don't commit adultery. Just as He said, don't commit coveting. Those things are things that are not questions. Can I do this and still be a believer? Do I have to do this? These are things that God commanded on us. And of course, I would extend that to all of the commandments that is possible for us to keep today. If those commandments apply to you, then you should keep those commandments, again, as a response to what God has done, not in order to earn His redemption or His salvation, but because you have. And that's why Yeshua said, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. So the question was, do I have to keep the Sabbath even if I'm not convicted by it? And the answer is, we have to keep all of God's commands that apply to us, regardless of if our hearts are convicted about it, simply because God said so. It's not about our feelings or emotions. It's about what God commanded us to do. I hope this video was a help to you. If it was, I hope you share it with others. And remember, please hit the subscribe button and the share button on this video. Thank you and shalom.